Well, Russia's invasion of Ukraine is prompting other European countries to rethink their security situations. Leaders in both Sweden and Finland are reportedly now considering joining NATO as soon as this summer. But Russia's warning the two Scandinavian nations against joining the alliance and says the decision to do so would prompt Russia to reinforce its borders, possibly with nuclear weapons. Now, for more, I'm joined by former U.S. Ambassador to Finland, Derek Shearer. He's also a professor of diplomacy and world affairs at Occidental College right here in Los Angeles, and he's a contributor to Washington Monthly. Ambassador Shearer, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I want to get right to the business here. Sweden and Finland are non-aligned countries, so that means they aren't part of any major power bloc like NATO. So, two questions here. Why have they maintained that position, and why are things different now following Russia's invasion?
Good questions, Carter. Slightly different histories. Sweden was neutral during World War II, so it maintained its military neutrality after the war and took on a large role in the United Nations, but of course ultimately joined the European Union. Finland, unlike Sweden, was attacked and invaded by the Soviet Union during World War II. It famously fought back. That's where the Molotov cocktail was originated, throwing gasoline-filled bottles at Russian tanks. Finland lost territory during World War II, and in the peace agreement it signed with Russia, part of the agreement was it would maintain military neutrality. But at the end of the Cold War, as I say, both Finland and then Sweden joined the EU, which was also a security decision as well as an economic decision.
It's interesting. You know, as you mentioned, Russia and Finland share a border. It's about 800 miles long. So how concerned should Finnish people be about Russia, including that threat to beef up border defense if Finland does join NATO?
Well, Finland, as I say, had viewed joining the EU as enough security while maintaining neutrality, but it didn't feel neutral. It's always oriented towards the West. And when I was ambassador, for example, Finland purchased the F-18 Hornet. They joined Partnership for Peace, a NATO program, and the Finnish military is fully interoperable with NATO, but they didn't feel the need to join NATO. But now this has changed very dramatically, both in Finland and Sweden, because of Putin's invasion and the brutality of the invasion. Public opinion in Finland has shifted dramatically from a minority in favor of joining NATO to an overwhelming majority. And as you reported, both countries are now on the track to apply for NATO membership, which is not the outcome that Putin had hoped for when he started this invasion.
It's incredible. This change happened in just the last couple of weeks, a major change in these countries' positions. Could the war in Ukraine be the beginning of another push to strengthen and expand military alliances like we saw during the Cold War? And if so, what would that global impact look like?
Well, I think we've already seen the global impact, which was to reaffirm and strengthen NATO. And one of Putin's big misjudgments, he had kind of echoed Trump's view that NATO was kind of dead in the water, not significant anymore, and wasn't strong, and that the U.S. wasn't going to take leadership, and that the other Western nations were not going to step up and participate fully. And he was totally wrong. What the invasion has done has revived and reaffirmed the importance of NATO. And to just give you one example, one of the reasons the Ukrainian army has done so well and unexpectedly well for many people against the Russian invasion is because they've been trained these past years by NATO troops. And they've gone from the old Soviet-style top-down military guidelines to a more democratic, small group, let the commanders at the local level make decisions, and they've been highly successful.
Derek Shearer, he's the former ambassador to Finland. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Carter.